Hi guys, let us have this conversation. So let us say Pep Guardiola was the one that used the squad Mikel Arteta used to obliterate Real Madrid just 2 days ago in the Champions League, and he won by 3 goals to 0, which we all agreed. No, not even all of us agreed. A fantastic result. Some people are still saying that, of course, Real Madrid is going to come back stronger in the second leg. Just because they hate us now. Just because a lot of people hate Arsenal and they have become delusioned by the fact that Arsenal, to be honest, has, if not the best defense, maybe one of the best defense that you can see. So let us say Pep Guardiola, the question I asked at the beginning of the show, he used that squad using a makeshift striker as, of course, a nine, and he was still able to obliterate Real Madrid by 3 goals to 0. What do you think the conversation in the media would be? Of course, we cannot guess, in our head, is going to be, Pep Guardiola, the best coach in the world, Pep Guardiola doing amazing things, Pep Guardiola, turn the midfielder to a striker, Pep Guardiola, the maestro, many of these bogus titles, even they are even going to do a better job than I'm doing right now. As football fans, I think it is our duty to be able to do bias as well as to be able to speak right when we have to speak right. And now I think it is time for us to speak right because what Mikel Arteta has done over time, especially with us now, deserves a Ballon d'Or coach kind of title. To be honest, there is nothing called the Ballon d'Or coach. In this context, when I'm just saying the Ballon d'Or coach would make, maybe the best manager of the year, maybe people really giving Mikel Arteta his honors that he really deserves. If you really think it is easy to beat Real Madrid using a makeshift striker, marking out Vinicius, marking out Rodrigo, marking out all of these guys, Modric in the squad, amazing talent, 40 years old, all of these things. If you really think these things are easy to do, then ask Liverpool. As a matter of fact, ask Manchester City. Because Real Madrid has knocked out Manchester City, Real Madrid has knocked out Liverpool on several occasions. Now we have a situation where Arsenal, being the team in the EPL that has the most numbers of injuries, 27, as we can see on the table, they have the highest number of injuries. And looking at Man City currently has 18 injuries. And what this table is saying basically is just the fact that I think it is talking about the number of times maybe a player has been in and out of the squad. Arsenal has 27, Manchester City has, of course, 18. And at the same time, when you look at those in Manchester City who has picked up injuries, you will see that those who has picked up injuries, out of all of this list, the most important out of them is Rodri. Although on the list we have Rodri, Manuel Akanji, we have John Stones, we have Nathan Ake, we have Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland newly picked up injury. Rodri has been out since just after the Ballon d'Or, facing Arsenal, picked up injury ACL, out of the season. And this is the start of the collapse of Manchester City. On the other hand, for Arsenal, you will see that Arsenal has had, of course, Takahiro Tomiyasu out for a very long time. Gabriel Jesus also out with ACL injury. Kai Havertz also out with hamstring injury. Ricardo Calafiori has been in and out this season. Ricardo Calafiori always have injuries at the end of one match or two matches. Then, of course, we have Gabriel Magalhaes, who is even one of the reasons for the conversation. Because to be very honest, nobody gave Arsenal the chance of ever winning against Real Madrid. Especially after the news of Gabriel Magalhaes, speaking of injury, came along. To even think Arsenal fans themselves do not even rate their own defenders, do not even rate their own players, is even more shameful. Because there are several tweets that has talked about Jacob Kiwior, for example, in a bad light. The guy has not even kicked the ball, and of course, Arsenal fans do not really like him. And there is this thing about Arsenal fans that I've noticed is that they do not understand what it means to have a squad player. You cannot have two Vinicius in Real Madrid. You can only have Vinicius Junior and somebody close to Vinicius Junior. You cannot have two Saliba in Arsenal. You can only have Saliba and you can have somebody close to Saliba. Exceptional cases are the cases where we have Ben White, for example. You see Ben White playing, for example, for Arsenal, and then, Timber comes along and Timber is able to upscale Ben White. Rare cases. Or, for example, you have Califiori, who is always out injured, and you have Lewis Kelly coming in to take his place and playing amazingly well. These things does not happen every time. We have seen a situation with Arsenal where they lost the title because Saliba had injuries. They did not have players like Kyrgios at that point in time. The Kyrgios, same Arsenal fans criticize right now. They do not have Kyrgios at that point in time. Kyrgios came in, and now Kyrgios came in now. He's getting better, he's getting stronger. Then they had players like Callum Chambers. Callum Chambers came in and he was destroyed by Manchester City. I remember that match perfectly. Manchester City won that match by 3-1. Arsenal title hopes just boom. So when we are looking at all of these things and what Mikel Arteta has done over time, I can tell you for a fact that if it was Pep Guardiola that was using a makeshift striker to beat Real Madrid, a makeshift striker this season already has 6 goals. And I think this is just in the Premier League. This is just in the Premier League. Already has 6 goals. The other person that has more goals is just Marco Asensio, Bruno Fernandes. These are the guys that have more goals. And these guys, Marco Asensio, Bruno Fernandes, they give both assists and also they score goals because they are amazing players. Nobody's taking anything away from those guys. But of course, Mikel Merino from a midfielder coming up to a striker, owning that position, these are the things we need to be said in the media that are not being said enough. Now, it would mean that Mikel Merino maybe has 8 goals or 7 goals or so across all competitions because they scored in the Champions League against Real Madrid. A very beautiful goal. I don't even want to talk about Declan Rice because at the end of the day, all these things boils down to the coach. The coach is what I'm talking about here, and the coach needs to be given credit for what he has done. And as a matter of fact, at the time he brought in Declan Rice for £100 million, although Arsenal fans were excited, it was a good deal, but we still had a lot of them who said he could have brought in other players for lesser. He could have brought in other players for lesser. Now Arsenal has Andrea Bata, of course, who is likely going to get them over the hedge, to the next stage. Because sometimes when you want to blame managers, you need to look at a lot of factors. You need to look at those who own the club, for example. The Liverpool fans are currently, at loggerheads with the FSG guys because they feel the FSG guys are no longer investing in the club. Trent Alexander-Arnold leaving to Real Madrid for free. Although I think there's progress with Salah and Van Dijk's, contract talks. But then when you look at what is really, really happening, and even, at Manchester United, for example, with their owners, I can't remember the name of their owners in my head right now. I know, but I can't remember right now. Wanting to build a new stadium, the fans, is not like they're not excited about the project, but they're actually looking at what are the things you can do, to improve the squad. Bringing new defenders, bringing new investment, bringing new players that really, really want to play for the patch, so that Manchester United can go back to the glory days. But here comes Arsenal. Arsenal has absolutely everything they want, except a good owner as well. Because in the January transfer window, nobody should be telling the Kroenke to bring in bodies to help Arsenal, upscale their title hopes, to help Arsenal get to the next stage. And minus all of these things, Pep Guardiola spent £200 million plus the highest spent money in the January transfer window, this season. And of course, we are still not seeing that much result. Brought in, Omar Marmoush and a couple of other players, and we are still not seeing that kind of result. But if this was Mikel Arteta, for example, who spent £200 million in January and the results are not coming, what do you think the media guys are going to be saying? And even, we that watch football, what do you think they're going to be saying? We would, of course, be demanding for Mikel's head in a plate. We would all be demanding for a sack. So these are the kind of biases that I am trying to call out and I'm trying to talk about that I think is not right. Arsenal won Real Madrid. Check out Talksport because I'm going to be making another video. Talksport talking down on Arsenal. For Arsenal winning Real Madrid, the most decorated club in Europe, the most prestigious club in Europe, won the highest number of titles. We are still talking now on them. So what exactly do you want these guys to do? What exactly do you want Mikel Arteta to do? When does he start getting, the credit he deserves? Is the credit tied to winning titles? Because now you have won Real Madrid, if Arsenal progress to the next stage, win, for example, maybe PSG or something, and probably win Barcelona in the final, pick up the Champions League, they are still going to say something else. They are probably going to say that maybe Barcelona did not play well in the final or something like that. Why can't you just give this young man the credit he deserves? The student is actually becoming the teacher now. It is very simple. It happens in football. So these are actually the things I want to talk about, because people are not talking enough about these things. People are not talking enough about the decisions Mikel Arteta has made over and over and over and over again that has turned out to be the right decisions for the club that they claim to support. And one thing Arsenal fans do not know is that if Mikel Arteta were to be leaving the job right now, Real Madrid will be picking him up. Real Madrid fans will be telling you that they don't rate Mikel Arteta, of course, because they want to put it in your head so that you can sack your own manager. But then when it comes, or when it becomes free, they are going to be picking him up. Bayern are going to be picking him up because, of course, company do not have as much experience as Arteta. Arteta has coached big clubs. I know a company is also coaching Bayern right now, but they will go in for Arteta any day, anytime. Clubs will fight at loggerheads to have Mikel Arteta at the helm of affairs, coaching top players, doing the things he needs to do. And if he gets the right support that he needs to get, he's going to be winning titles, my dear. So these are the things I want to talk about. This is the bias I want to call out. This is the thing I want to call out. If you are not subscribed to my channel, please remember to subscribe to my channel. I really, really want to hear from you guys. I want to hear your conversation. I want to hear what you have to say. Please remember to drop your comments. More importantly, subscribe. If you are subscribed already, turn on the post notification on this channel so that it will help me grow. Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to be seeing you in the next video.